I'd like to invite our Educator of the Year, Dr. Alisa Schulman Janiger.
Well, I didn't prepare a PowerPoint because I'm going to be doing a PowerPoint tomorrow that I invite everybody to come to at Harpoon Henry's from 10 to 11. And I'll be talking for an hour on the American Cetacean Society, ACSLA, Gray Well Census and Behavior Project. We're in our 32nd year, Point Vicente, Long Point area. And I'll also be talking about the orcas of California, which I've been passionately interested in forever and kind of know just about all of them now. It's really exciting. So I invite all of you to come to that and you'll learn more about California orcas than you ever thought you'd know. I became a marine biologist probably when I was, less than 2. When my parents took me to the ocean for the first time, and I saw the ocean and started screaming with delight, raised my hands in the air and ran into the water. And they couldn't get me out. So I got swimming lessons when I was not even 2 years old. When I was 5, my kindergarten class went to the Cabrillo Marine Museum, and I watched a crazy guy shake little eggs in a jar, and magically little fish popped out. And that was John Olguin. And I thought that was really cool. Decided I wanted to become a teacher. And I'd wanted to be a clown, too, because it makes people laugh, it makes people happy, it makes people engaged. So I thought, well, maybe being a funny teacher is the way to go. So I studied everything I could as a kid about particularly whales and dolphins. But I was also intensely interested in apes and in elephants and animals that have long, rich, emotional lives with strong family ties. I remember a moment in 6th grade when I was in the school library with a book by Jane Goodall in one hand and a book by John Lilly in the other. And literally, like, the room lit up and sort of felt like lightning was hitting me. And that was the aha moment when I was having to choose a path in my life. Was I going to go to the apes, which still intensely draw me, or would I go to the cetaceans, which kind of for a California girl make a bit more sense? If I want to study them in the wild, I knew I did not want to study them in captivity. And that was the moment when my path was chosen. That was it. So from that point on, I was a whale girl, and everything I could possibly inhale about cetaceans, I did. Went to talks by John Lilly, the Cousteaus, everything, just soaked it up. The more you can learn from the experts themselves, that's the richest education you could possibly get. I took every science class I could in school and got out on boats whenever I had an opportunity, and ended up at the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium and in the whale watch program and become a whale watch naturalist, which was fantastic. I got to go out on boats and take photographs and teach the public about the animals that I so enjoy. And then a blue whale was hit by a ship off of Ensenada and carried into the Los Angeles harbor. And I went to take photographs, and I met my husband-to-be on the dead blue whale. That's Dave Janiger. And he now runs the stranding program for the Los Angeles County Museum of Natural History. And our dead blue whale is in the storage facility that he works in, which is really cool. And if any of you ever need any articles on marine mammals, Dave's thing is to be the guy behind the people. Anything, you name it. We would suddenly have a trip to San Diego or Santa Barbara. Why are we going? Because so-and-so needs an article. So we'd hit the road and go on a road trip. So that's his thing. Mine is, as an educator, I want to learn as much as possible. I'm a lifetime learner. I ended up teaching on a boat for 10 years, going out whale watching every day, or putting on dive gear, going in the water, pulling up plankton nets. Gave me an opportunity and a platform for studying whales. Moved to the East Coast for 2 summers to study the humpback whales there. Went to Hawaii, went to Baja as naturalist. Went to Alaska as naturalist. I really, really enjoy sharing my knowledge, getting more knowledge, but trying to be a bridge between what scientists are learning and what the public knows or doesn't know, and educate them. Because once you're educated, you know what's going on, you can act on it. You know what important topics are the ones that you might be able to do something about. I ended up as hoping to be the head of a boat program, and then they pink slipped the program, the head position, when I was in teacher credentialing school. And I ended up going into the classroom. Very unhappy, until someone called me up and said, "You were the teacher on my boat." And I thought it was great, and I'm leaving San Pedro High School. I'm the marine biology teacher there. Would you like to apply? I ended up at the only school that would have worked for me. 3 minutes from my class, from my house. They wanted me to go on field trips at least once a week. I was guaranteed no more than 25 kids per class. Yeah, right? And sort of carte blanche, I could make my own program, which was heavily cetacean-oriented. And that lasted about 3 years until I had 48 kids a class, and the other teachers said, "What do you mean you're going on another field trip? You're going to miss the book learning in the classroom." For me, it was all about what the kids were interested in and what was going on. If there was a stranding, we'd change our topic to that. Whenever we can get out of the classroom, I wanted them to experience for themselves. Because for me, if you see the animals and you get out at the tide pools on a boat, that can engage you even more, make it really fun. So that lasted for 21 years. But what happened is I'm also a researcher, and I'm very interested in what's going on out in the field. So at the same time I was a teacher in the classroom, I was running the Gray Whale Census Project at Point Vicente, and actually it started in Marineland. So there was a short project to study what kind of whales are going by, and I decided to make it a full-time project. But we were in Marineland, and we got to see lots of animals. In fact, and I have a sort of a thing for dates, people who know me, dates and numbers and things like that. But on January 29th, 1984, I saw my first close-up wild killer whales. Amazing. I went out on a boat with Bob Talbot. I got a call saying there's killer whales in Marineland, and I said, "Yes, I know. No, there's killer whales right in front of Marineland." And we actually got out there and got with what I called the LA Pod, which are a group of 15 whales from Mexico that came up the coast from 1982 and hung out off Los Angeles, went up to the Farallon Islands, down to the Sea of Cortez for 15 years. And then with the next El Nino in 1997, they left. But not before one of them killed a great white shark off the Farallons. You might have heard about that, CA2, with a whale that killed Jaws. Really interesting stuff. Killer whales are pocket size. Females were 12, 13, 14 foot long, 15. Males maybe 18 foot. Then I went up to Monterey and saw a mammal-eating killer whale. Huge. In fact, I've been to Monterey, I don't even know how many times since 1992, and every visit I've gone, I have seen wild killer whales. Not on every trip, but any trip from 3 days to 5 days to a week to 5 weeks. I was actually contacted by SeaWorld last year to comment on the fact that it's important to maintain a facility like SeaWorld, because otherwise people in California won't get to see wild killer whales. Okay, speaking from somebody who has seen them every time I make a trip to Monterey during April and May, which is the best time to see them, I said, I really can't say that, because I've seen them every single time. And not only that, starting 4 years ago, some of those started coming down to Southern California. And those have become some of my favorite killer whales in the world. And actually, I've gotten to know them so well by spending time with them. It, to me, feels like families of people who live in the ocean, by learning their personalities. I see one Comet, who I'll be talking about tomorrow. She's 4 years old. I first saw her when she was 1, and she put her head on her mom's back and looked at me and vocalized over and over, staring me in the eye. If any of you have had that experience, Howard, Susan, you just came back from Baja, getting that eye-to-eye contact, it's hard to describe, but it's like electrical current going back and forth. There's somebody home there. It is so intense. It's not just an animal like going by. It's like, ooh, this is kind of cool. I want to hang out with you for a while. Intense, absolutely amazing stuff. And I still get that feeling. And I've been going out on the water for decades, and I never get tired of it. And the other thing I want to do is to excite other people about it. So I post on Facebook if I hear about wild orcas out here. I say, Orca alert, Point Vicente, half a mile out, get on a boat now, go, go, go. And people like suddenly are sick at work, and they go out suddenly, and they show up on TV that they just watched these killer whales out there. And it's first I want to get out there, and I want to get pictures and see who of my acquaintances, almost feels like friends. Who's out there? Who's out there? Who's had a kid? What's going on? Who's hanging out with who? These two orphans, one got adopted by one family, one got adopted by another. Now the brother and sister are together last month, right off Point Vicente. So cool to see that. They survived their mom dying. They were adopted by two different young mothers, and right now they're spending time together with one of those moms. To be able to get that across to other people and have other people get to share that excitement with me, for me to get to see it is wonderful. For me to get friends to see it is fantastic. For me to get the public, like, I've never seen a wild orca in my life. Oh my God, I just got to see the first ones I've ever gotten to see, is beyond expression. So I want to be able to bring the world of the wild animals, not just orcas, but others, but particularly that because they seem to run in my blood. I dream about them pretty much every night. And identifying them as they go down the street, right? They go down the street, oh, that's so-and-so, ooh, she's got a calf. And identifying, flukes or humpbacks and all sorts of stuff. But getting the public engaged in that too. Everybody has a passion in life. Some people find it early like I did. Some people not till later. You could excite other people about it. Get them involved in it too. Follow your passion. Stick with that passion. And it gives me never-ending happiness to be able to share that with others and to find out what's going on with those animals in the ocean. So if you want to learn more about those orcas and also about our 32nd year full season gray whale census project from Point Vicente, started at Marineland closed, and we weren't going to get closed down. We just kept on going. We've been at Catalina Island, we've been at Santa Cruz. This year is the biggest year in 32 years of gray whales. How many of you saw gray whales today? Okay. Back in 1984, we had most of them within a mile of shore, counting them from shore. 3,412 northbound gray whales that year. Okay, 999 southbound. Okay? This year, we've had something like 1,878 southbound gray whales. Our highest count in 32 years was 1,301. Okay, back in like 1985, back then. We're almost at 1,900. Whales were coming earlier. They seem to be coming closer to shore. This is the 4th year in a row. We're seeing them everywhere. We're seeing mating. We're seeing breaching. Someone messaged me yesterday, is there something in the water? They're breaching everywhere. Like, okay, I know we don't process all of our caffeine, and it does go in the water, but no, if you get a lot more animals close to shore, you're going to see a lot of interactions. You're going to see more breaching. There's more animals. See more mating, hopefully make some more babies for next year. Northbound, we've already seen over 800, including 3 calves, including a calf today. Most calves are still down in the lagoons. I think also the northbound migration is going to be closer to shore. We don't know why yet, but this is the most amazing year in all of our 32 years to get out on the water. Not only that, we're seeing false killer whales and pilot whales that we used to see in the early 1980s. We never had rhesus dolphin. We didn't see many white-sided dolphin. We didn't see many common dolphin or bottlenose. We had pilot whales. We had false killer whales. So exciting to see those animals move in with this warm blob that we've had along the coast. We've had Brutus whales from Baja. We've had pilot whales from Baja. 2 days ago, false killer whales from Baja. The same false killer whales we saw a year ago almost to the date. Right off here, right off San Diego, right off Palos Verdes. Whole new ball game, really interesting sort of shift in regimes going on. Very exciting. So it's a great time to be involved in cetacean research, cetacean education, and cetacean conservation. Thank you.
FinFest 2015 Educator of the Year, Alisa Schulman Janiger. Thank you.
Took a little more than my 2 minutes.
No, it's fine.
Educator to the core.
Deserve it.